The president fired the FBI director all because of the Russia investigation. That first justification given, again, the White House misleading the country about a major action the administration was taking. But the fact that they had a private conversation in which the president, by his own admission, was discussing the future of Director Comey in that job, and the president brings up whether he's under investigation, highly unethical, at a minimum unethical. If he was trying to impede the investigation anyway, maybe beyond unethical, but deeply disturbing, again, a threat to our system of checks and balances.
So you say that this was all about Russia, but there is another player in here, of course, the Deputy Attorney General in the Department of Justice. And his argument was that Director Comey's handling of the email investigation was terrible. And you were highly critical of that as well. I mean, you said you were deeply disturbed by it, that it had damaged the FBI. It was an error in judgment. So wasn't there merit to the case that the Deputy Attorney General had made in saying that Comey couldn't do his job because of his handling of the emails?
There was certainly merit to the criticism that the Deputy Attorney General had about how Comey handled the Clinton investigation. And I don't think Director Comey ever adequately explained why he treated the Clinton investigation one way and the Trump investigation another. But of course, that was all pretext. That wasn't why Comey was fired. And what disturbed me most, frankly, about the Rosenstein memo, and I raised this in a conversation I had with him earlier in the week, is the fact it was addressed to the Attorney General. The Attorney General was supposed to have recused himself from anything involving Russia. And here he is recommending the firing of the top cop doing the Russia investigation in clear violation of what he, the Attorney General, had committed to doing. And now we have the Attorney General participating in the interview of new directors of the FBI, underscoring, I think, yet again, how imperative it is we have an independent counsel.
You say misleading from the president. So do you think that Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein and the Attorney General Sessions are in on the misleading?
Well, certainly, I think the Attorney General should have played no role. So the violation there is having a hand in how the investigation is going to be run. In terms of the Deputy AG, I don't know what was behind the creation of that memo. I certainly suspected, I think as many people did, it was asked to justify a decision that was being made on other grounds. Now, whether the Deputy Attorney General knew his memo was going to be used that way to misdirect the country, I don't know. But certainly, as the president made all too clear, that was all pretext. This was all about Comey and Russia.
You say it's unethical for the president to have had dinner. The president, when he talked about his reasoning for this, he mentioned that the investigation into the Russian meddling was on his mind. So is this, do you go all the way to thinking this is obstruction?
Well, the difficulty, and I look at this also as a former prosecutor, can you prove obstruction based on the president's own words when we don't know whether we can believe this president? We already know that there are those close to Comey who have a very different take, also a troubling take on that dinner conversation. So I'm not sure you could prove the case based on this, but if there are tapes, of course, that would be the best evidence of what took place. If they exist, Congress needs to get them. If they're not provided willingly, Congress should subpoena them. And if they're not in existence, if this was yet another fabrication by the president, he needs to come clean about it.
And we should remind people